I'd like to show you what I have learned in the last few days after getting my Parrot Bebop 2 FPV with the goggles. And this is the little gadget that holds your smartphone, and you put your smartphone in there. And when you're putting the smartphone in here and putting it in the viewer, this is the angle that it's going to be. Your USB is going to come in this side, and the camera, your phone's going to be there, and then you're going to close it up like this. So there's a couple things that I do before I ever hook up the battery, because it just saves your battery life. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, you've got this, and you've got your USB plug that's going to go into your smartphone. And so you bring that through before you ever do anything else. Just bring it through there, and then we're going to hook our smartphone up to that. And I always have it off, a blank screen, so that I don't hit buttons and make it go where I don't want it to go. So then we're going to go ahead and get that plugged in. Okay, now we've got that plugged in. Now we can turn on our phone, and we'll go to the, get that like it's supposed to be. Whoop. You're doing this in the field, okay? You don't have a table to work on because you're out in the field somewhere. So that's why I'm showing you what I'm showing you here. Okay, once I've got the USB cord connected, then I go ahead and I start the Free Flight Pro app, and we bring that up. Now then I can touch it and everything like that, and it'll stay in that program. And so that's where we're going to begin. The next thing we have to do is get the drone turned on, and then turn on our controller and get the goggles and start putting these things together. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, as you can see, the drone is looking at me, looking at my legs. Now here's what we have to do. We have to go ahead and hit that and get the double vision thing. Let's see here. There we go. All right. And you'll notice there's a line, a white line coming through right here. And then I'll make an inset. There's another white line right above on the rubber there. And what we want to do is we want to get those lined up perfectly. So I'll get it up there as close as I can. Get those lined up perfectly, and don't let it move. Okay, so you're going to take and you're going to put your thumb. You're going to raise this up and put your thumb through there and pinch that thing just as hard as you can. And by the way, you want the phone down against the bottom of this thing right here. So we're going to put it in there like that and hold it tight. And then we're going to pull everything shut without letting go. And make sure it's all plugged in everywhere. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to slide it into the viewer. And when you slide it into the viewer, you have to be very, very, very careful that you get everything lined up. And if you notice carefully, you can double check here when you're all done. There's a dotted line there, and there's our white line there. So we got it pretty well lined up. But the next thing we need to do is put it into the viewer. So I'm going to get the viewer, and we'll show you how to put it in there without messing things up. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but on the very end corner right there, there's a beveled edge. That's the only beveled edge. There's not one there, and there's not one on the top. It's just on the bottom facing you. And that's set up so that this can only go into the viewer in one direction. You have to have the, you'll notice there's the camera lens for the smartphone, and that's what you're going to be looking through when you pull the little trigger that goes between the quad and your view. So you can look at it while it's taken off, get it up in the air, and then go to FPV. So the one thing that I learned is you have to be real careful when you put it into the viewer, because this phone is held in there fairly tight, but it can still be jarred around. And once you get it all lined up and you slam it into the viewer, then it gets misaligned. So let's go ahead and put it in there. very carefully. You line it up, you don't have to jam it, and you just slide it in very gently. Once you get it in there, then you should be able to, that's looking through the lens from a distance, but it should line up real well with your eyes once you have gone through those steps. Get it lined up, get it lined up with the hinge bottom. Get it lined up with that line on the rubber. Close the thing while you're pinching the phone against the slider. Clip it shut, and then very gently slide it into the end of the viewer. Okay, so those are some tips that I learned just a few days ago, learning how to fly my Parrot Bebop 2 FPV. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and God bless you.